Welcome to the 6th episode of the PlayStation Randomizer, the show where the randomizer gods pick a game for me to try from the 700 plus options in the new PlayStation Plus catalog, and I decide if that game is worth trying so you don't have to. Today's pick is Graveyard Keeper. This is another game I've heard of, but didn't actually know was on this service. I've only seen it on Steam and Switch before, and didn't really know anything about it outside of it being a weird farming type sim taking place in a graveyard. Metacritic score is nice. That's fun. And I do love farming sims, so let's check it out. Okay, so I don't want to bury the lead with this one. And yes, pun very much intended. I don't think this game is for me. It's got a fun premise with a guy who possibly dies and then wakes up in an eerie town where a disembodied skull greets him to say he's the new keeper of this abandoned graveyard. All the people in town are normal enough but have their weird quirks, and one of your first quest objectives has you finding someone who will buy the human meat you cut off a cadaver dropped at your doorstep. Yeah, it's all very tongue-in-cheek, but the dense amount of mechanics that are thrown at you pretty much right away made it feel pretty inaccessible to me, just kind of trying to, get a taste of it. This is also not helped by some unwieldy menus that can make it hard to keep track of your progress. My biggest issue with this game, though, is in the crafting systems. Your main goal is to revitalize the graveyard nearby to impress the locals, but the initial info dump just kinda confused me, and once I ran out of starting supplies to improve the grave sites, I couldn't even figure out how to craft more because every crafting table seemed specific to the area it's located and didn't have any useful blueprints on them, despite me seemingly have the resources I needed to make the things. The map is also massive, so just getting around and keeping track of people is pretty overwhelming to start, but since this game doesn't use a traditional calendar day structure like Stardew Valley or classic Harvest Moon games, they can't really slowly roll out mechanics to you. I do really like how you basically just sleep whenever you need to recharge energy, and it just makes a fitting amount of time pass rather than having to be in bed by a certain hour for your energy to come back for the next day. But it's also never totally clear what time of day it is and when people will be available for needed quest objectives. And the days themselves are in kind of a strange, symbol system that I had a hard time remembering, who was available in each day. There's some light RPG mechanics with upgrading weapons and armor to attack enemies like slimes, and you can open up some more areas around the graveyard to do things like farming, but it's all just so dense, it's not a game I could really get a good grasp on within an hour. I even went a little long on this one because I was just running around trying to figure out what to do, and I wanted some more, varied gameplay footage to show. If you like farming games with deep mechanics like Stardew Valley, you might enjoy this one too, but just be prepared for a lot to learn. From grinding out the resources needed to unlock new skills and blueprints, to the actual graveyard and morgue mechanics, to the amount of characters with quests to keep track of. I'd personally just give this game a try, because if you can't get into it initially, you probably won't stick around with it either, but there's also a lot to like here. Oh, and you can also just watch as a seemingly evil man burns a witch at the stake and then asks you to be his friend. So that's something, I guess. But yeah, this was a weird one. Until next time.